I've been messing around with some odds and ends. This was a funny little bit of elder I cut last year. There's a nice big knobbly knot there, and you can see the channel where the pith runs right through the handle, which I've made very thin. I'm trying to get it to bend in the handle really. It may just break at the knots. It's just a little bit of fun, something to get me away from exploding war bows. Mind you, this might explode. I don't even really know quite what draw weight to go for. Sort of 35, 40 at 26. And then I thought I could even splice on some little curved levers on the end, because this was some nice wood I cut a while back with a nice natural curve on it. Could be quite fun. So I'll pull that later and we'll see if it goes bang. I think it's bending in the middle a bit too much at the minute, but it dried out with quite a lot of natural reflex. So I pulled a little bit of deflex in here and left the natural reflex. I mean, I can pop the string off it later so you can have a look. In the meantime, I've also been messing with this. This was the reworked, rebuilt, patched grip old wonky war bow, and what I've done is I steamed it about there. I left this kink, but I steamed it over sort of about, well, where this bend is, this deflex bend, steamed it over that section and pulled it back in line. So that is much more horizontal. It's a much more balanced stave. The problem with character bows is it's difficult to see the curve, but it's not too bad if they're reasonably balanced. If you've got one limb way out of true, a lot of deflex or a lot of reflex, the whole thing just looks unbalanced at brace and unbalanced at full draw. It's very hard to get a feel for it. There you go. Some more general chit chat. I had a guy who's just getting into building bows, and he emails me, and he posted a picture of his bow like that, asking me if it looked all right. And I said, well, you can't, it's not really bending enough, you can't see. I said, I can't see what draw weight it's pulling to either. And he said, well, 20 pounds. I said, well, if you draw about to 20 pounds, keep drawing it to 20, you're going to end up with a 20 pound bow. You've got to pull it to full draw weight from the beginning, unless you can see a problem with the tiller. Then he got back and said, what, you're saying put it straight off to draw weight, full draw weight from the get-go? What if there's a hinge? I said, well, hang on, you missed out the word that I typed in block capitals, unless there's a problem with the tiller. I find I keep answering the same questions again and again and again. Draw it to full weight. As long as it's looking even, take it to full weight. So on a long string or a low brace, it's not as heavily stressed as when it is when it's fully braced and at full draw. Yeah, but what actually breaks a bow? Is it the poundage or the amount of bend? Well, if you get a bit of 2B2 and put it on there and pull it to 300 pounds, wouldn't break, would it? But if you take the same bit of 2B2 and bend it to here, it's going to snap, it won't take the bend. So it's that combination of bend and poundage. I've had war bows that I've pulled to 130 pound on a long string. That is a string that will just fit on. You get it braced, you pull it to 100 pound and it explodes. So it's not just about poundage. It's about bracing, it's about string angle, it's about the amount of bend and all the rest of it. Let's have a look at this and I'll tell you the thought processes in tillering a bow and starting to pull it back. And yes, he's quite right. We self-evidently, we don't just yank it straight back to full draw weight. Say I'm aiming for 40, I'm not going to pull it straight back to 40 unless it looks all right. So, yeah, we start pulling it back. He also says, do I exercise it? Yes, I exercise it, but I watch the tiller and Is the tiller all right? Well, no, it's not. It's bending much too much just outside the grip, isn't it? And I'm not even, well, that is from down here. Let's get back up. So yeah, I mean, it's fairly even, but it looks a little bit hingy just left of the grip. Yeah. Right limb's not too bad, but all the bends in the middle, up near the grip. And you can see the outers are flexing a tiny bit, but you have to bear in mind there was a little bit of reflex to start with. So no, I don't heave it straight back to 40 unless the tiller's all right. But to me it's looking weak here, and it's not bending much on the outers. But let's just look at the unstrung shape. There's your unstrung shape. Oh look, there's the weak point. Well, it's not weak, it's naturally deflexed. That outer limb that wasn't bending, well, it is bending because it's pulled out that reflex. Similarly here, this point that didn't look like it was bending, well, it is bending because it's uncoiled that. And that, boys and girls, is why it's a stupid idea to start off with fancy deflex reflex shapes when you're just learning. Start off with a straight bow, you can see the curve. Have I irritated you all sufficiently yet? Because I've gone all preachy and shouty, and I'm a really bad man. I should go and have a nice cup of tea and calm down.